Hey guys, this is Leolah. I told you guys I would give you all part two of Leolah Brown, Breaking It Down. I want to first say, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, oh Allah, Father God, please guide my tongue. Please, for the world, for these people that are on here, listening to what I have to bring to them. Okay. Now, I'm going to break this down. This is part two of breaking it down. The last one that I did, I said I was talking about, it ended with me talking about Stacy Francis and how she and Ray J, I believe her and Ray J, both like created that big storm about Whitney acting a certain way. But I'm going to start this off. This is part two. And I wrote down, I don't usually write down anything, but I wanted to because I wanted to give you guys this in like just in order how I have it. I want you guys to know that Bobbi Kristina was found first. Okay, I've always said that. She was found first because I believe the idea was to kill Bobbi Kristina first and then say, kill Whitney second and say that Whitney found her dead and all that stuff. But that didn't happen. Bobbi Kristina was strong enough to come through in that bathtub incident at the Beverly Hilton. Okay. And the reason why I say that Ray J had to, him or Nick or both of them, because they were around Bobbi Kristina at this time. I believe that Ray J gave my niece something. I believe that him and Nick, and they were all conspiring, doing things in that hotel during that time that Whitney and Chrissy was in that hotel, you guys. They were doing things to my sister and my niece. And my niece said, when she was talking to my son, Kelsey, he asked her, Chrissy, did you have anything to drink? Did you have any drugs? Did you have anything? She said, no. She said, it was early in the afternoon. The only thing she had was something to eat. And she said she believed she had breakfast and lunch. So that let me know. I said, aha. Somebody probably spiked her drink or food because Bobbi Kristina said the last thing she remembered was going to her door. That was the last thing she remembered, going to her hotel door to lock the deadbolt. And then she said she woke up in the tub. She didn't know what happened to her, right? So, and then she said when she woke up, there was a lot of men around her, and none of them were trying to help her get out of this bathtub.
Hotel security.
Huh?
It was all hotel security around her.
Yeah, it was all hotel security around her. Okay? So, now, like I said, I believe someone spiked her food. Nick Gordon, and Ray J, because I'm sure that Pat and Gary had recruited. I know they recruited Nick, and they brought Ray J in as well. So they were all one, team. They were all hanging together. But God gave me a dream. He gave me a vision regarding my niece because I was confused. I was like, in the beginning of me investigating this case, I was like, okay, Chrissy, she couldn't remember anything after locking that deadbolt. And I was like, dear God, please give it to me. What happened to my niece? And then Allah gave me a vision. And it told me what happened. It told me. I'll tell you guys about that vision later, okay? And I might do it tonight. But it's late. I'm home. I'm getting ready to go to bed. But I think that I know that I have it. But God gave me the vision of my niece because he wanted me to know what actually happened to Chrissy and why she couldn't remember, after going to lock the door of the depot, and she couldn't remember how she made it to the tub. So when Allah gave me the dream, he told me, he said, she went to that door to lock that deadbolt, but then she went to lay down and go to sleep. And when she laid on her pillow, that's when they snatched her, because they thought she was dead, I guess, and they took her to that tub. And they undressed her, because when Chrissy woke up, she said she had no clothes. Somebody had removed her clothes out of the hotel, all her suitcases and everything. So Pat and them have access to that. So there's no way that you can get out of that, Pat and Gary, because you all are the only ones that have access to Chrissy's clothes. I'm sure if Whitney brought you with her, she only gave you all permission to touch her daughter's clothes. Okay? So how come when Chrissy woke up from that bathtub incident and she walked around that room looking for her clothes and couldn't find them? You all had taken her clothes out of that hotel, even her suitcases. She said she was butt naked, and she got up out of the tub to walk to look for her clothes and couldn't find one stitch of clothing. So y'all had moved that fast. After she fell asleep, see, you all started snatching her stuff out the room. That sounds like you, Pat and Gary, because you all did that with Whitney. So when Chrissy came to in that bathtub, she couldn't find nothing. And by the way, her rugs was soaking wet. Didn't they say Whitney, when they found Whitney's body, Whitney's room was soaking wet? That's how I know she wasn't in her room. Chrissy said her room was soaking wet. But I'm going to go on. First of all, okay, let's get this straight. Because I'm only trying to bring this truth. I'm trying to bring the truth to the public so that we not be fooled. Because you all are not going to lie and say my sister passed away like that. And she didn't. Somebody jumped my sister. Somebody beat Whitney. Somebody was beating her. She was fighting back because she had defense wounds as well. Nails chipped, busted lip. And by the way, again, they said Whitney's lip was busted so bad that had she lived, she would have had to have surgery, like serious surgery to fix her lip. That's how bad it was, you guys. Yes. Okay. First of all, Whitney's security, Ray.
They call it a laceration. That cut was so deep on her lip, they called it a laceration.
My son is saying that cut was so deep on her lip, they called it a laceration.
And there was no blood.
And there was no blood. It was deep. The thing on her lip. So what did you all hit my sister with? This is crazy. Her jaw was out, like somebody had punched her. But Whitney's security, Ray, told me. He said, Leolah, that room, he said, whoever came, quote, whoever came in that room to kill Nip. That's what he said to me when I asked him what happened. And that was for the first time. See, I hadn't seen Ray, and I had been wanting to talk to him. So I saw him at the hospital when we were there for Chrissy, because Ray wouldn't answer my calls. And I kept calling him because I was used to talking to Ray. But anyway, when I finally met up with him, he said, Leolah, whoever came in that room to kill Nippy, they left that room, that they had that room looking as if a tornado hit it. So I'm like, wow. So that there was no forced entry though. See? So whoever killed Whitney, she knew them. Whitney wasn't going to let anybody in her hotel room anyway. There was no forced entry. So of course, it had to be somebody that Whitney knew. No forced entry. And her room looked like a tornado hit it. She had all them bruises on her. It was somebody that she knew that was fighting her. Yes. Okay? So I want y'all to know this. Okay, so the next question is, Who would want to do this? Well, who would she trust to come in her room? First of all we have to do is go back to who were the people there. Okay? I can tell you this. I know there wasn't a lot of people around Whitney because Whitney Houston wasn't that kind of person. She was very private. She only had a few people around her. Of course, Pat Houston was around her. Her brother Gary, Ray J, Brandy Burnside, Nick Gordon, her security Ray. And Ray, I don't know why you didn't stand up in the beginning and tell people what happened to Whitney. You are her security, darling. You are, and you all know that I love and respected all of you all before this. My brother Gary knows how much I love and respect him. But the truth is the truth, Gary. And I don't hate you, brother. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Pat. I don't hate Gary. I don't hate Ray J. I don't hate you, Ray. I don't hate anybody. But I want the truth. I am about the truth. None of you all are my God. Okay? And I hope that I'm not yours. None of us are supposed to put each other before God. But we are. When we believe in God, we are to tell the truth. So that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not to mock you, none of that. None of that. You all know me. None of that. But I am speaking the truth. Why did you not come forward and say what happened to my sister? Why? How could you all do this and let this go down and not say anything to us? That's not right. No, it is not. But Pat, you were there around her. Gary, Ray J, Nick Gordon, Brandy Burnside, Mary, Pat's relative, Ray, which is Pat's brother, Whitney's security, and Raffles. I haven't forgotten you. I seen you coming out the back. Okay? So what were you doing there, Raffles, too? All of you all were around my sister. It was evident that something was going on because somebody made the phone call and said something fishy's going on up at that hotel with Whitney. They called Aaliyah, Whitney's niece, and told her, get your aunt out of that hotel. Yes. Okay? Yes, and Whitney fought for her life. Yes, she did. She fought for her life. Now, after Whitney is found, Pat and Gary, you two are seen. Seen. This is not hearsay. Staging the scene. Running back and forth very fast. Taking things out of Whitney, out of that room to another. Going back and forth. Okay? Why was you all doing that if you're innocent? If you didn't do anything wrong? Why? Why would you touch a scene that the authorities have to come in? They have to fingerprint. They have to, and I don't even know if they did. They probably didn't. But I'm just saying, why would you all do that if you're innocent? If you're so innocent, Pat? And you would say, after 10 years, you and Gary would get in the camera and say, bring the evidence? If I have evidence of you all, is that all you have to say to me? And go to the authorities? Okay. Well, Pat, explain this. You got on Oprah. You jumped on Oprah after Whitney's death, okay? We were all watching. I was anxious to hear what you was going to have to say. But you lied, Pat. You told Oprah you was her manager. Why? That was the first red flag for me, Pat. When you said that and I knew you were lying, I said, what the hell is going on here? Why is Pat lying to Oprah? Okay? And then you said, Pat, that you had watched your brother give Whitney CPR. And so long, so much, that you said, stop. She's already gone. And Nick was on Dr. Phil. saying the same thing. He gave, but only different, that he gave himself. He gave Whitney CPR. He didn't mention you or your brother. You didn't mention Nick around or anything. But Nick said he was giving Whitney CPR and he had to call his mother in Florida because he didn't really know what he was doing. That's what he said. Go back and look at the Dr. Phil thing. So that's two stories, Pat. That's two different stories. Something's wrong with that. I'm sure I'm not the only one saying that. Okay? So there's two stories about you all giving Whitney CPR. Who's telling the truth? Or are both of you all lying? I don't know. Okay, now. All right. We all know that there's a lot of people that are not here today. It's mighty strange that a lot of people are gone. Nick is gone. He's no longer with us. But before he left here, my nephew Gerard Brown had him on tape. And he said, I'm not going down for Pat. He said, I saved her with Whitney. I'm not taking the fall for Chrissy. I'm not taking this. I'm not taking this. After he knows that he was the one that beat Chrissy in that living room. But the way he said it was like, he felt like, oh, wow, I might get in trouble for this. I was told to beat her down like that and throw her in the tub. But now Chrissy is not going to make it. I ain't going down. I'm not taking this fall for Pat. I'm not doing this. That's what he said. Okay? And so it's mighty strange that Nick is gone now. All of a sudden, he's no longer here. Okay? I'm just saying, you all. Because I want the world. Since Pat and Gary, I don't have no evidence against you. And you say, go to the authorities. I ain't going to the authorities. No, I'm not. I'm done with the authorities. I ain't going to them no more. But you know what I'm going to do? I am going to tell the truth to this world and let the world be the judge. Okay? Now Nick comes up dead. A lot of people came up dead. Chrissy's friends. A lot of Chrissy's friends. And then on top of that, I heard that my friend Lem, Joseph Lemon, I heard, this may not be true though. I don't know. So I'm going to keep it real. I don't know. But he's dead now. Lem was young. He was younger than me. I didn't know that he had any issues. He's gone now. All of a sudden, Lem? I couldn't believe it. And I heard that he was also there. He was part of the security. Because, see, I knew Whitney had 2 security people with her. And when I was asking around and doing my investigations, I heard Lem was with them. My old buddy Lem. And see, I introduced him to family members. But see, that's what people, a lot of people come in the Brown family and they go and they befriend people. A lot of people come around us and they try to get around us to get to Whitney or. But people, you all should never do that because you don't know what you're getting into. Be loyal to people. Be loyal. Because you never know. Anything could happen. But I just want to know what's happening to all these people that are dying. Max Lomez. And then they tell me, I hear that Joshua, Chrissy's friend, told me that he was present when Bobbi Kristina, after Whitney's death and Chrissy's here in Atlanta, he said he was present when Nick, Max Lomez, Danielle, and them planted the knife in the car that Chrissy was driving when she had the accident. And they said those orders came from Pat. That's what Joshua told me out of his mouth to my ear. He said, Auntie Lily or Leolah, whatever I forget how he called me. But he said, because most of Chrissy's friends called me Auntie Lily. But anyway, that's not important. Joshua said to me, he said, Auntie Lily, that knife was planted. I was around them during that time. And Pat was giving orders to Nick and them to plant that knife in Chrissy's tire to make her have an accident. I said, what? He said, yes. And they did it because they pretended like Danielle was going to commit suicide. And I said, what? Danielle was going to commit suicide? He said, yes. Danielle was going to commit suicide. So they were trying to tell Chrissy, Danielle's going to commit suicide. Get in the car and drive her. They were trying to tell Chrissy to drive to make Danielle feel better. Now, I never asked Joshua why Danielle was going to go commit suicide. But I put two and two together now. I'm Detective Brown. I started thinking, I said, wait a minute. Chrissy wasn't friends with Danielle no more because she busted Danielle with Nick. Danielle was not supposed to be coming around her no more. See? And Danielle was present when Nick beat Chrissy in her house. So why was Danielle saying she was going to commit suicide? Was Chrissy not speaking to her? Or did they tell Danielle to come back around and try to befriend Chrissy and act like you're her friend again? And Chrissy was saying, no, I don't want nothing to do with you. And so they're all outside of Chrissy's place now. Danielle's pretending like she's crying. I'm just going to go kill myself. I'm going to go kill. And they're saying, Chrissy, look at what she's going to do, Chrissy. She done slept with Chrissy's boyfriend now. So Chrissy, having a good heart, says, okay, I'll get in the car and drive. I'll drive her and talk to her. Okay, I'll be her friend again or whatever. That was it. See, God was revealing these things to me because I knew what was going on in Chrissy's life. Danielle wasn't even supposed to come around her no more. It had to be that because Chrissy wasn't willing to be her friend anymore. So she pretended like she was going to commit suicide. Right?
They lied to Chrissy to set it up so that they could.
Right, and they lied to Chrissy to set that up. Of course she wasn't going to commit suicide. They were just saying that to Chrissy to get Chrissy in that vehicle so they could have her drive it because they had already had the knife stuck in the car. So Chrissy gets in and she has that accident. And Joshua says to me, he said, Auntie Lily, you know, everybody knows better. They know Bobbi Kristina could drive good. She could drive. She's a real good driver. She didn't even know what was going on after she had the accident. Joshua said, I was there. They stuck the knife in her tire by the orders of Pat. Well, get this, you all. Joshua tells me that.
He said it was a dagger.
He said it was a what?
Remember he said it was a
My
dagger.
son said, remember he said it was a dagger. Okay. Then he calls me several weeks later, like not even long after that, and says, Auntie Lily, I'm in the hospital. I said, what's going on? He said, I was gang raped by 5 men. I think Pat sent them at me. They raped me. They busted him open so bad. I guess he had to be sewn up in the back and everything. He called my phone and said that. His mother was petrified and said they were going to get him out of Atlanta and move him away because they didn't want no parts of
Chrissy did talk to Danielle.
this, you know.
Chrissy found out that they lied when she did talk to Danielle.
Chrissy found out they lied when she did talk to Danielle?
Yeah.
My son said Chrissy found out they lied when they did talk to Danielle. Chrissy knew. Chrissy knew that they put that knife in the tire.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She had talked to Danielle on the phone and she was about to
So that's why Nick beat her like that in the living room.
Right.
They must have said, well, Chrissy knows now. She knows that we set her up. So you're going to have to. See, he knew that if Chrissy left her place that day, he wasn't going to see her no more. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's why
Yep.
Danielle came. That's why Danielle came. She really came for Chrissy.
Danielle really came for Chrissy.
At that point, she came to support Chrissy.
No, but if Danielle, Kelsey, if Danielle was so much of Chrissy's friend, she would have told the truth about Nick. But she was too busy on Nick's, you know what? No, we will not do that. Danielle, yeah, see, she was supposed to be Bobbi Kristina's friend. She knew that Nick beat her like that. She knew, and she knew they plotted all that stuff, but she never told the authorities that. Isn't that something? Wow. But anyway, meanwhile, while this is all going on, now let's skip up to Ray J and Stacy Francis, because this is after Whitney's death. Pat's in the media lying, saying she's Whitney's manager now. She's trying to snatch everything now. She's trying to get everybody's attention to her. So Ray J is doing his part too. And I strongly believe he forced Stacy Francis to do that to Whitney. I really do. I believe that he forced Stacy Francis to do that to Whitney. And Stacy Francis, you seem like you could really be a beautiful sister, a wonderful person if you would get yourself away from people like Ray J. But I believe, sweetheart, that he had you do that. He made you walk up to Whitney and squeeze her breast like that. Yes. I think that he did that and made you tell that lie on my sister and say that you and her was arguing over Ray J. You knew that you and Whitney was not arguing over Ray J. Ray J had nothing to do with that. You walked up on my sister, squeezed her breast, and she cursed you out. That's what you all were arguing about. Okay? That is exactly what you all were arguing about. And you all was, after you did that, you was trying to paint the picture and trying to portray Whitney's behavior as someone that was like inappropriate or, evil or something. But, Whitney is a very nice person and she would never curse people out like that. She don't just cuss somebody out about a man. That's not Whitney. Bobby Brown was her husband, honey. She loved Bobby Brown. Do you know how many women that was around my brother that she never cussed out? So why would she want to cuss you out about Ray J? Okay? Ray J made you do that. I believe he did. He put you up to doing that. And you should have never done that. My sister would never be that preposterous and act that way in public. She would never do that. She wasn't that kind of person. And you all concocted up that story and said that she was wild that night. She was getting high and Whitney was just having a good time. And you all concocted that bullcrap story about her being wild and crazy. See, you all did that because she was gone now. She was gone. And y'all wanted to say this was the Whitney Houston you all wanted people to remember because they were saying it was drugs. No, but there was no drugs. Not enough to kill my sister and her sister. In fact, she didn't even have none. No. No. Very vulgar idea, Stacy. Very. But you need to get on your knees and pray and ask God to forgive you for that. I do. I forgive you, sister. I forgave you already. But you gotta find peace with God. Because I know why you all did that. I know why. You all wanted to paint a picture to the world that with this is, y'all wanted people to remember Whitney like that. And that's wrong. That was vicious. That was crazy. And so I guess that's why Nick is trying to commit suicide now. Is it? I don't know. Is he worried about the truth coming out about him? I don't know. I don't know. I've forgiven everybody. Everybody has to find peace with God. They do. They really do. They really do. Now, I will say this. Nick was a psychopath. He was. He was. Nick had issues. He had some serious issues. There was a lot wrong with that brother, as young as he was. But he's gone now. He's gone. He is gone. But, you know, all of you all stuck together in this. And I know that Pat and Gary headed this thing. They were the main culprits. And then they recruited everybody and got everybody in, you know. And I think that they promised you all monies. I really do. Speaking on that, I'm sure that Brandy Burnside was offered something. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Yeah, because, you know, what you all did was, even though I forgave you all, but Ray J, you are, like I said, Nick was a psychopath. But Ray J, for you to have contrived such a story like that about my sister, that is wicked. That was like a vicious move that you made. That was very wicked of you to do that, to create that story like that and say this was about me and Whitney was jealous. That was evil. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have done that. Because then you brought Stacy in it and you forced her to do that and perform those acts on another female, another woman. See? So God does not like that, Ray J. I forgave you, but you better make peace with God. You better make peace with God, baby, because that is so ugly. That is very ugly for you to do that and try to make somebody look bad. Okay? You don't do that to somebody. Wow. Like I said, overall, Pat and Gary, you all are the two main people that are responsible because you all are the ones that got everybody together. Yes, I said that. And both of you all had it out for Whitney for a very long time, Pat and Gary. And a lot of people are asking, why, Gary? Why would you let your wife do this? Why? Is it because you are so jealous of Whitney? Because, Brother Gary, you know I loved you. I've always loved you and respected you. You were one of my favorite brothers. I looked at you just like I look at Bobbi, like I look at my own brother, Bobbi and Tommy, Gary. You know that. Your wife doesn't think like that. Pat doesn't know us. She didn't. She was jealous of me. You know she was when you introduced me to her. She never felt good about me when you told her I was beautiful. Look, here's my sister Leolah. I actually felt bad for her because I don't condone men doing that. I don't think it's necessary to say it more than once. It's okay if you say it once when you're introducing somebody, but to keep hounding it and say, look, my sister, isn't she pretty? I told you so. I knew that was bothering Pat, but she didn't know me. I'm not even that type of person. You understand me? But at the same time, she didn't know that I looked at you like my brother, like Bobbi, and Tommy. But Gary, people are asking questions. Why? And everybody in the Houston family has told me, you don't know Gary. Gary's been jealous of Whitney for many, 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 many years. Yes. Why? Nippy did everything for you all. Look at the house that you all live in. Y'all lived better than Whitney all your life. Just about. Beautiful home, everything. My God. And a lot of people, I just read some letters that people sent me and said, my God, they live better than Whitney. I seen their house. Pat and Gary, how could they follow Whitney and Bobbi to Atlanta? They were newlyweds, trying to be by themselves. And you and Pat followed Whitney here to Atlanta from New Jersey. Who does that? Who does that? See, that shows me that you all been plotting on Whitney. Yeah, all the times you all followed me to the Chrissy's nurses, the doctor's appointments and stuff like that. You all were plotting on Whitney a long time ago, but I didn't see it back then. I didn't look at it like I'm looking now. I'm thinking back like you all really, really stalked Whitney. You were stalking. That's stalking. When the things that you all woke up every day with Whitney on your mind. That's stalking, brother, sister. That's stalking. See? Because I'm looking back at everything that you all did. And that's crazy. And you know something? With all due respect to everybody that's listening to this, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, he said, jealousy and envy can lead to murder. You have to be careful, people, who you have up around you. Whether they're your family or not. Jesus had people around him at his table that he was breaking bread with and eating and with and talking to every day that was plotting on him. So if that can happen to Jesus, who are we? You have to be careful. See, there's signs in the Bible to show us the things that Jesus was going through. They told us what they would call Jesus. They're going to call him a hater of Jews, hater of this, hater of that. They called him every name in the book, but he was a man of God. See, the Bible was written as a guide for us because it was taken from our original language, which was Arabic. But I'm trying to show you all something. You have to understand the book because the Bible is a very good book. It is. But we have to study and know what we are reading. It's something else, boy. Jealousy is something. When a person is jealous of you, my God, you have to be careful. They will plot your murder. Yes. And then I want other people, I want you to know, I want to say something to people. Don't ever turn away from your family. Don't let black people, we have to stop killing each other out here. We cannot let somebody offer us some money to take our brother and sister out. No, that is so wrong. Don't you know there's a God that we have to answer to? And people, don't allow people to come in your family and separate you from your brother, your sister, your mother, your father. Don't ever let brothers, don't let women come in your life and turn you against your sisters, your brothers. Don't let somebody do that because let me tell you something. God has given us family, but he allowed us to choose our friends out here. But when it comes to family, he's given us that. That is special. That means that whatever you go through, that's why God says, it says in the Bible, whatever your brother and sister has done to you, you forgive them 7 times, 7 times, 7 times. See, God knew that we would be in a world like this, going through these things. And that Bible is a guide for us. Study it, read it. Take heed to what is written in that book, because you're going to have to face God one day. We have to stop being foolish out here and stop letting people put things in our minds. Because we are really the chosen people of God. But he's not going to accept us like this. No. We have to stop that jealousy in our hearts. God can't bless you. If you don't want for your sister and brother what you want for yourself, then you are not a good Christian. You are not a good Muslim. No, you are not. You have to want for yourself, for your brother and sister, the same that you want for yourself. Feel good and be happy and proud when you see your sister, a beautiful sister, walk in the room, or a nice looking brother that walks in the room. That is your brother. That is your sister. They are supposed to compliment you. Their achievements, their everything that they do, any good that comes to them, you say, praise be to God. God, I hope I can get that one day, and he will give you that. But you cannot have an ugly heart. No, that's why many of us out here don't have today, because our hearts are too ugly. I just wanted to say that because I'm gonna talk a lot about that, about us uniting and getting stronger and getting closer to God. But we gotta love each other, not destroy each other. God has come to build a new world, a world of people that love each other, not people that like to destroy each other. No, that's not what God wants. So if you want to be a part of God, you're gonna have to be about it and be a part of him by loving your brother and your sister. Period. Point blank. I'm just here to tell you. I'm not no minister. I'm just a little teeny messenger of God trying to tell you something right. But like I said, God gives us our family. We can choose our friends, but he's already given us our family that you can't give back. Why? Could it be that, there are tests and trials that we have to get over? That could be part of it. Some of us have family members we don't even want to be bothered with. I understand that. I have those. I have some cousins. We have brothers, sisters, we have cousins, we have aunts, uncles, people that we don't even know why they're jealous of us and they can't stand us. They can't even tell you if you ask them. They just hateful for no reason. Just hateful. But you got to love them. You got to still love them. You got to still love and respect them because God demands it of us. Any of my family members know I'm always respectful. Leolah has always been respectful. Always. I've never done anything to nobody. I've always been respectful to everybody because I've always been family oriented. Yes. I love family. I love God. But I'm not going to be a fool. Some family we can't trust. That's a fact. But whatever they do, you can forgive them. Forgive them. Yes. Make your peace with God. Don't let nobody send you to hell. You ain't gotta to forgive and forget and allow them to do something to you again and go up around them. You ain't gotta do that, but just forgive them. Because we live in a world where ain't nobody really responsible. We was born into sin. You understand? This is a wicked world. But at the same time, you got to understand there's only one book. Like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, there's only one book for us. There ain't no 2 and 3 books for this age, that age. There's one book and one message of God's. And we got to take heed to that. Okay? Look at Minister Farrakhan. You know how many people hated on him? And look how good he looks. God has blessed that man because he's never done any wrong to anybody. He just speaks the truth. And he don't worry about nothing else. You can call him whatever you want. It ain't bothering him. He knows. He's sure of who he is. And so am I. So it doesn't matter. So when your brother or your sister or your cousin or your aunt, your uncle, or somebody does something to you, don't shut them out. Don't just shut them out completely forever. Just forgive them, but keep it moving. Okay? And stop the jealousy. We have to stop this jealous rage that we have. We have such a jealous streak in us. You know, instead of saying to yourself that God compliments us by I love to see a beautiful sister or a beautiful brother. It compliments me because we have the same Father. All that jealousy and envy, it can lead to murder. You better stop it. You better bow down and ask God to fix your heart. Or go on Ayana Van Zant and ask for her to fix your heart. Well, I don't know about that. I think you need to just go somewhere and go in a room with God on your own, by yourself, and say, God, help me. He will. He will. Yes, he will. I just wanted to say that because we are all sick people. We have to stop doing this to each other. We really do. Minister Farrakhan's been speaking for so long, trying to get us to see something, understand the hour, the time that we are living in and where we are. Because ain't nobody else telling you all. Ain't nobody else teaching us right. They're not being straight up with us. No, they are not. And it's like a train is coming and we're standing there and he's standing there trying to talk to us and that train is coming and we steady saying no, 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 no. But it's about to approach. It's about to approach and destroy if we do not pay attention. It's over. Oh my God, it is over. Okay. I'm done. I just really wanted to say that. I wanted to give you all that and give you all something to look at because this is wrong what they did to Whitney. It really is. Ray J and all of them, they did something to my sister. Yes, they did. And I believe Ray J was there. He was trying to take Whitney out. He was trying to spike her food. I believe him and Nick was, because, in that hotel, Whitney was there and Whitney always has an adjoining room. Chrissy always has to have an adjoining room with somebody that's there to watch over her. So I believe it was Nick. And when they're out on the road like that, they have to have a room to hang out in. So I believe they were all hanging out in Nick's room, that adjoining room to Chrissy's, or both. Chrissy's room as well. Yes. So I believe that Nick, Ray J, I believe Gary Houston, I believe he was in that room too. I believe Ralphos, you was there, Brandy Burnside, all you all was there in that room. You all were just doing things. You was probably whispering and y'all was trying to wait till the right time was. Y'all was doing sneaky stuff around Chrissy and Whitney. Oh my God, I can imagine the things that went on because I know what happened. Wow, I can't believe that you all did this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But you're going to have to answer to God, every one of you. You can ignore me, but you're going to have to answer to God. And Brandy, Burnside, I dare you to say you didn't do it. My son was on the phone with Chrissy. He heard everything. You told the nurse. After Ray J gave Bobbi Kristina a pill, forced her to take it. She kept saying no, and he said, no, you got to take this to feel better. It's going to make you feel good. And after Chrissy takes that pill, she throws her shirt off and says, Ray J, what is in this pill? I'm hot. She needed water. See, that's why I connected the dots with Whitney being wet. Wanting that water. Ray J, what was you doing to my sister? But Chrissy couldn't take that. She went into a seizure. She had a seizure. And so they rushed her by ambulance to the hospital. And once she got there, Brandy Burnside and her mother, both of you all were trying to tell the nurse that Bobbi Kristina, you all was telling the nurse to 5150 my niece. Kelsey was on the phone and heard you and said, Chrissy, who was that telling the nurse to 5150 you? Chrissy said, that's Brandy Burnside and her mom. Why? What is 5150? Bobbi Kristina didn't even know what 5150 was. Kelsey said, Chrissy, they're trying to set you up. Get out of there. Chrissy jumped up and threw her clothes on and disappeared and ran out of the hospital. Yes, Brandy. So we got you. We got you. You was trying to get my niece 5150 into a damn a mental institution. Who told you to do that, Pat? See, because I knew what you all was trying to do. All of you all just like double teamed my niece, doing all kind of crazy slick stuff, trying to, tricking her and stuff. Is that why you all was rushing in that car out of the back of that hotel? Could that be where you all was going to follow Bobbi Kristina to that hospital after Whitney's body was up there waiting for hours? And you was in that car, Brandy Burnside, waiting on Ray J and Nick and them to come down to get to the hospital to follow Chrissy? Is that what you all was doing? Because you all was racing out of that hospital, the back of that hospital. Y'all was racing there to make sure that you tell them. I don't know. I'm just guessing if this is what y'all was trying to do. Was y'all racing to the hospital to tell the doctors, the 5150 Chrissy, let's lock her down now. Let's get her in a nut house. Whitney's gone. Let's snatch her, put her in a nut house. Ooh, y'all did some wicked things. You all did some wicked things. Yes, Brandy, we got you. We got you. My son heard you, so don't try to deny it. Don't you dare. Kelsey heard you clear, loud and clear. Kelsey knows your voice anyway. He was right there. 5150 her. The nurse told you, I can't do that. She said, there's nothing wrong with this baby. She said she's just mourning her mother. Her mother is gone. You are a wicked person, Brandy Burnside. Don't you ever call yourself my sister's godchild. No, you were not Whitney's godchild from the beginning. Anyway, you were claiming to be Bobbi's goddaughter. Whitney didn't have nothing to do with that. Whitney didn't even want you around anymore. She found out you and your mother was lying. You all told her a bunch of lies about you all, about your life and all that. Whitney told us that you all were a fake. You all were some people that was trying to swindle money out of her. Yes. But I believe, Brandy, that the reason why you allowed Ray J and Pat and them to bring you in and go against Whitney and Chrissy was because they promised you a TV show. And you know how I know I'm right? And you can ask anybody. This was before. Let me tell you how much God shows me. Because I do a lot of praying and fasting. And I asked Allah to give it to me, please. And he did. He said, I had the idea in my head. I felt like the Spirit was telling me. God said they promised her a TV show deal. And so way before Love and Hip Hop, ask my family members, I said, Ray J, either Pat or Gary or Ray J is promising Brandy a TV show deal. That's what she's expecting to get out of this. When she jumped up in the media and said, oh, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm Whitney's goddaughter and all that. And she was doing all that. Yeah, because she was doing sneaky stuff to Bobbi, Kristina, and Whitney already. But I said that. I said, everybody is on board. Everybody. Pat had a lot of people doing a lot of wicked things to them. And lo and behold, here we go. I see Brandy on Love and Hip Hop with Ray J. I said, bingo! Didn't I tell you all? So I'm done. That's it, you guys, for now. I just wanted to give you all that, though. I wanted to give you all that. But this is a sad case. It really is. May God be with everybody that is looking at this video. And please take heed to what I say. Keep people away from you. You never know, because the people that did Whitney like that, all of them were up around her. She trusted them. And keep in mind, there was no forced entry into my sister's room. All of them culprits are responsible for the death of Whitney Houston and the death of Bobbi. Well, it's evident that Pat killed. Yes, Pat literally killed my niece. She knew that Bobbi Kristina was coming home. Bobbi Kristina was fine. She was getting better. The doctor was there. He proved it and showed it right in before everybody's eyes. My brother Bobby cried like a baby and said, please don't kill my daughter. Please don't do this. Don't do this. Bobbi Kristina wasn't on no breathing machine, none of that no more. She had been away from that. Her eyes were open every day and she was getting better. Her brain was getting better. She was looking at you. She was talking. When Pat walked in the room, she said, she was screaming, get her out of here. Bobbi Kristina was coming too. Pat didn't want her to come home. No. So she said, no, kill her. But who gave that woman 50-50 custody over my niece? And then if you got 50-50, why would they take Pat's side and say, okay, she said kill her? Her father said let her stay alive. You see? So y'all see what I mean when she talk about go to the authorities? You done paid people off, Pat. Look at what they did to my brother. Look at that. They took your side. Huh? Over my brother's. My brother's daughter. Let me tell you something. It couldn't have been my child, though. It couldn't have been my child. There's no way. Oh Allah, I'm so sorry. It couldn't have been my child. I love you all. I gave it to you. I'm sorry. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Dear Allah, forgive me for any thoughts I had in my head just now. Peace, you all. I will see you all later. Okay? I love to say it in my original language. Assalamu alaikum. It means peace. I wish God's peace onto you. Peace.